decides that the end is too near for them. That's Today with me, Chris Merrill, right here on News Talk 550 KFYI.
Okay, a story that's gone viral on the internet is about measles. The measles outbreak at Disneyland affected us here. Andrew Bavitsky has a young child who is under the age of 1, cannot be vaccinated yet, and they are supposed to be in Disney, next week? Week after?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So he's not going.
He's staying away from Disney.
So I hope he's okay at home alone for, it's just going to be 3 days. We're going to have a blast, but he's not going.
Well, you're going to leave him, bottles and stuff, right?
Of course. Yeah. Mike.
You're a good parent.
I'm a good parent.
Well, you could take him to Disneyland and then just leave him in the car seat, leave the motor running, windows cracked. Say you're on a job interview.
I could make a ton of cash. I wanted to be a cast member at Disneyland.
What a horrible story that was, that woman. Ugh. Are you concerned with the measles outbreak now we're hearing now these cases in Arizona? Now there's 1,000 people being monitored. Since he's not able to be vaccinated yet, are you more careful where you take him now?
Of course. Definitely.
More than before?
Yeah. More careful to make sure that we're washing everything down when we go to a restaurant. More careful to, use hand sanitizer. Make sure he doesn't put something foreign in his mouth because it can live on there for... But, if it's in the air, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Because it's in the air.
Right.
But, yes, there's a higher level of concern because he can't be vaccinated again.
All right, so a friend of mine, her name is Dani, and I almost called her by her maiden name, but Dani Stringer, she is a nurse practitioner. She's the youngest nurse practitioner ever in the United States, graduated from ASU. I'd had her on the show before, and she contacted me about this. She put it on her blog from a doctor who just wrote this scathing blog to parents who don't vaccinate their children, especially vaccinating them against measles, because he has a child with leukemia who cannot be vaccinated and puts his child at risk. So she's joining us here. Dani, welcome to the show again.
Hi, Mike. I'm so happy to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
It's this story has gone. Well, did you have any idea it was going to be as crazy as it's gone? Because what do you have, over 100,000 views on Facebook, right?
Yes, that's true. I know. I think I've had 80,000 shares at least at this point, and then I've lost even track of the views. But it's amazing to see this story brought to the public attention, and it's a really deserving story because this is a classic example of what can happen to children in the community when people don't vaccinate.
And it's funny because didn't you used to be against vaccinations?
Yeah, I have a very unique story, actually. Growing up in a very conservative group of people, my mom started vaccinating me, and then she became friends with a community of people that really were more anti-vaccination. So as she had my siblings, she slowly did less and less vaccinations to the point that we really weren't immunized. And then I decided, fast forward, that I really wanted to become a pediatric nurse practitioner. And I remember a conversation with my mom where she said, Dani, you're going to have to give vaccines, right? And I said, well, I guess I'll just cross that bridge when I get there. But when I got there, the amazing thing was when you see children suffering with pertussis in the hospital, when you see your friends' children exposed to measles, when you're hospitalizing patients for rotavirus, when you're seeing all of these infectious diseases make a resurgence in the community that I live, work, and love, it's appalling when we have these fantastic vaccines that can prevent all of this suffering, and that's what I'm all about.
So this story is taken off because of this child with leukemia has been exposed. Can you give some insight, because you're in this industry, when they have these people that they're monitoring here in Arizona, what is this doing to you in your practice? Because you work with such young people. What is this doing, and what do you recommend parents do to protect their children, even if their children have been vaccinated? Is there something they need to do?
Right. Well, let me give a little bit of backstory on what the current statistics are on the measles outbreak. As most people know, this all originated in Disneyland, but now it's up to 95 cases that are confirmed measles in over 7 states and Mexico. Now, currently in Arizona on Tuesday, I got the notification from Maricopa County of Public Health that there are 7 cases confirmed here. But The really frightening thing is the director of the Arizona Department of Health, Will Humble, says that there have been up to 1,000 people exposed. And even sadder than that, one of the exposures happened in a facility where there were 200 children. So the impact of this is so substantial, especially considering that we're going into Super Bowl Sunday and the Phoenix Open. I mean, this is a big weekend for Arizona. So my number one recommendation for everyone is to make sure you're vaccinated. The MMR vaccine is highly safe and highly effective. And unfortunately, like Andrew was saying, measles is airborne. So no matter how much hand sanitizer you use, that simply is not going to necessarily protect an unvaccinated person or unvaccinated child from contracting the measles. So it's just really important to make sure those vaccines are up to date.
So what do you do with, like in Andrew's case, with a child that isn't old enough to be vaccinated yet? With what's going on, and you're saying now all these kids being exposed and how contagious this disease is, what do you recommend a parent does that has an infant?
Well, it was amazing, actually. Yesterday, I got another notification from the county Department of Health, and they sent out signs alerting us with a big stop sign to post on the doors telling people that measles is in the community, and if anyone enters with a fever, they really need to be wearing a mask. So I never thought I would see that day in my career with a resurgence of this infectious disease. But honestly, we have to really pray that the people that were exposed to measles and not vaccinated abide by the quarantine and really stay confined for the next 21 days.
All right. Well, if people want to read, and I'm sure there are so many that still do want to read the blog, your blog where you've posted this letter from this father, how can they, what is your blog?
Yeah, definitely. So my blog is KidNurse. You can visit us at KidNurse.org. I post updates there all the time where I give advice and recommendations on how to keep kids safe and healthy. And I really recommend that people go and read this blog of a fellow pediatrician of mine in Arizona who's going through this. And my heart and prayers go out to him in this time, and I hope all of yours do too.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing the story here with us because it's going to be so important for the people here in Arizona. Like you said, all these people visiting here, if they get exposed here and go home, who knows where this goes. So thanks for the information. It's always good to talk with you. Thanks.
Exactly. Oh, thanks so much, Mike.
All right, that's Dani Stringer, who's spending some time. KidNurse.org is her blog. Check out the story from this father. And when you read what this father went through, and he's just furious. And the fascinating thing about this, Andrew, is she grew up in a family that did not vaccinate. They were dead set against it. And now, as a nurse practitioner, has changed her mind, especially this vaccine, saying it's so safe and it's so necessary.
And, you know, I think I said this earlier in the week, even the crunchiest of my crunchy friends do the measles vaccine.
Crunchiest.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. It's just such a nice way of putting it. You usually don't say things the nice way, and that actually was funnier to say it the nice way.